Welcome back to I Am Me. So, watched some content just yesterday actually by a guy called Hughes. Now, I don't know if you've heard of him. If you have, then you're probably already aware of what I'm about to tell you. But if you haven't heard of Hughes, then I suggest that you check him out. I'll leave a link. I'm having trouble with these links, Every time it says just put them in the descriptions, I put it in the description, I upload the video, and then for some reason the link just disappears. I don't know whether YouTube's removing it or I'm doing it wrong. Most probably I'm doing it wrong. Either way, he spoke about fear and how your egoic self, i.e. the version of you that you project to everybody else, which isn't actually who you are. Most of us think that's who we are. And it's the reason why you're unhappy. We're chasing an idea of who we think we should be based on what we think everyone else thinks we are or what we should be. And he explains that fear is illusionary. It's not real. Fear is an emotion that is conjured by the mind, and the reason that you feel it is always because you're imagining the worst case scenario. For instance, a dog that is usually a very happy, friendly, loving dog, for whatever reason, randomly attacks somebody. And it always turns out that that person that they randomly attack is always someone that was always fearful of dogs. And we see that same thing playing out in nature all the time. Sharks attack people, and it's always because they panic. They splash around in the water like an injured seal, or they think, hey, pack it in. Like this dog here. This dog's nervous of my dogs, and because it's nervous, they bark and they chase it off. And as soon as he stops and wags his tail, it becomes friendly. Oh yeah. Anxiety operates in much the same way. All of us suffer from anxiety, and I made a video. In fact, one of my earliest videos, I think it may have even been my first video that I uploaded, where I made the statement that I was now anxiety free. And at the time that I made that video, that had been true for me for a very long time. In fact, for what felt like a solid 5-6 months, I don't think I experienced anxiety once, which for me was world breaking. I'd never gone an extended period of time having not been anxious about something. And so for me, it was a new experience to have gone 5-6 months not having any emotional anxiety at all. But that's no longer the case. So I have since suffered with anxiety. And actually, if we're totally honest, I have actually had in the last month, I had a full-blown breakdown. And what I recognized was that if we sit with that anxiety, rather than panic and worry and try to fix it, because that's usually the initial response, right? we find ourselves traveling down a path, and because the way we are, we forward think, we're trying to remain in control all the time. And in order for us to remain in control all the time, we need to see what's coming all the time. We're constantly trying to plan ahead. We're trying to be prepared, because as you've heard me say before, the old sayings are the ones that ring in your mind all the time, and plan for the worst and hope for the best is one that I think a lot of us resonate with quite often. And so we're constantly trying to plan worst case scenarios just in case, because we feel like we're better prepared for it. But all that ends up happening is, in planning for those worst case scenarios, you are vividly imagining those scenarios. And so what can happen, and what does happen, is you imagine them so vividly that your body starts to release cortisol, which is the stress hormone. And that's because your mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imaginary. Doesn't know. It only knows what information it can receive. And what's crazy about that is that you are in control of the information that it receives. And so by imagining this worst case scenario, your mind now feels like it's true, and it responds in a way that it would if it were happening. And the cortisol causes stress and anxiety. And when you act, when you think, when you speak from a position of emotional turmoil, you are creating future problems. Because whenever you've been angry, you always end up saying things you didn't mean. Now, that's not to say that what you said wasn't necessarily true. What it means is that you end up saying something out of anger, which you could have better said if you were in a clearer mind. And so the message that you'd wish to relay ends up being thrown in the bin, because now you've caused damage to that person. And so nothing gets fixed. The problem doesn't go away. The problem persists. And it was all because, instead of eloquently explaining what the issue really is, you allowed your emotions to get the better of you, and you just said what it was that you needed to say in the most offensive way possible to kind of, hurt the other person just because you were feeling angry. Anxiety, all anxiety, is self-inflicted. And if you're feeling triggered by that right now, then ask yourself, why am I feeling triggered? You're feeling angry and annoyed with me for saying that your anxiety is your own fault. And that's because you feel like it's outside of your control. And actually, what I'm trying to do is, rather than perpetuate those feelings of anxiety, trying to get you to see that actually you wish you didn't have to deal with anxiety. You wish that you could live your days anxiety-free and peaceful, which all of us do. And I'm trying to tell you that you can. It contradicts what I said a minute ago, that you won't ever experience it, because that's not true either. The point is that we aren't always in control of everything that happens. It's not possible for us to control every scenario, but actually, in trying to control every scenario, you're creating problems you wish you didn't have. So it's better to, whenever you're faced with a problem, ask yourself a simple question. What can I do? What can you do? And if you are faced with a list of things, of actions that you can take, of things that you can say, then that's what you can do. You can do those things. If you ask yourself, what can I do? And genuinely, you come back with the answer, well, I can't do anything. Then you either accept that you can't do anything and that the circumstances will be what they will be, and you, being the strong, powerful, adaptable human that you are, can find a way through it. Or you can panic yourself continuously to try and find a solution to which you will never find, and sit in a perpetual state of anxiety, stress and misery. I suffered with anxiety for many things. I had social anxieties, which most people don't think I do or did, because I'm very extrovert. I'm a bit of a character. But actually, what you'll find is that most people who develop these characters, these personas, which are very eccentric or entertaining, they do it out of fear of not being good enough or likable enough or lovable enough or whatever it is. Those always stem from your childhood experiences. Chase goes on to explain in the video I watched that we have this illusionary idea that at some point in your life you become an adult, you just become a grown-up, and that you stop being child and you evolve into an adult. And that also is not real. That's fake. That's illusionary. It's a concept, but it is a fake concept. You are always that child, that 5-year-old, 6-year-old version of you that was just starting to figure yourself out. That's you now. That's still you now. And for some of you who have most probably already stopped watching this video, you're going, nah, that ain't me, mate. That ain't me. I'm this, I'm that. Rah, rah, rah. That's your ego. That's your ego. You're protecting your inner child from recognizing that it still exists, because you're still trying to project this idea of the version of you that you want everyone else to see. And that's literally just coming from the fact that you had to become those things as a child because everyone around you told you that you should. Going forward, promise yourself that you are no longer going to entertain ideas that don't make you happy. You are no longer going to associate with people that make you sad or make you feel like you're not enough. Promise yourself that you are going to take care of that 5-year-old version of you as if it were your own child. Learn to love yourself, because if you cannot love yourself, how could you ever give love to anything or anyone else? What? Get lost.
Oh, I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog. Yes, I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog. I don't want to hear all of your worries about the cat. I'm pretty sure that he always used to look like that. Just because the hors d'oeuvres have disappeared and I'm a little fat doesn't mean I do it. I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog. Yes, I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog, I'm a good dog. I don't know a thing about that mysterious pile of barf. Why do you have to always look my way when you smell a fart? Are you gonna make me hope to die and cross my heart? I didn't do